Pokemon just announced their 30th year anniversary set just a few hours ago. They showcased some previews of some of the classic Pokemon cards they're going to be reprinting, one of which is going to be a team-up reprint, which they teased in the trailer that we'll watch in a second. And stick around to the end, guys, because we'll be going through everything that was announced today, what that means for investing, and my take on the new set. And it's going to be a global release, which is literally unprecedented in all the 30 years of Pokemon history. So there's already a ton of hype for this set. The video that Pokemon released just a few hours ago already has millions of views. Yesterday and today, the Pokemon Company was releasing anniversary products on their website. I checked yesterday and I could have gotten something if I only waited for 8 hours. So is this 30th year anniversary set going to tank, or is this going to be the ultimate Pokemon moonshot? Well, stick around to find out, because I'll tell you exactly what is likely going to happen with my 12 years of history collecting and investing in Pokemon. Don't forget, guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing, please like, comment, and subscribe. It all really does help. And when I get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be ripping open that Evolving Skies booster box live on this channel. If you don't know, Pokemon Company does this anniversary style set every 5 years. They did it in the 20th anniversary, then in the 25th anniversary, they had the Celebrations collection, and followed by that 5 years later, we are now at the 30th year anniversary. So let's first talk about what cards were released and what that might mean for investing coming up on this October release. Watch this trailer and then we'll talk about the cards individually. So those cards you just saw are some of the teased cards that they're going to be releasing. I don't know if you saw this, but some of those cards are not in English, which is peculiar because the Pokemon Company has never done that before. If you look here at the Celebrations collection, all of the cards are in English. There aren't any in German or Japanese. So what they typically do is reprint old cards and put a logo on the card, signifying that it's a part of the 30th year anniversary set. They usually do promos as well, and sometimes they will even reimagine new Pokemon in older styles. Take a look at this Dark Sylveon. This is a beautiful card. I love this card, and it's based on the older Team Rocket era Dark style Pokemon. The sponsor for this video is the Collector app. The Collector app is the perfect portfolio tracker for all your TCG needs. Whether you're just a collector or an investor, you can track your daily market trends on the go wherever you need to be. Whether you're working, traveling, on the mountain, or pooping, you can check it anytime, anywhere. You can upload all of your raw or sealed cards from over 200,000 items in their database. It's free to download and free to use, and the monthly pro membership is only $4.99. Check it out today, guys. The link is in the description. Check it anywhere! All right, so first off, as you can see here, we have the base set Charizard, but it's not the same base set Charizard that we saw in the Classic Collection for the 25th year anniversary Celebrations set. Wow, that was a mouthful. As you can see, there is no insignia on it, and if you don't know what language this is German. This is Glurak. Many OG WotC vintage collectors know about Glurak, and typically for investing, we want to stick to English cards, but there are still variants in other languages that still demand a pretty penny, Glurak being one of them. So I really like this. I think this is great. I love that they did the German version of it as opposed to English, because we just got an English reprint of the base set Charizard in the Classic Collection from the 25th anniversary. So somehow I forgot to mention this, but as you can see here, they also have the base set Pikachu. It's not red cheeks, it just looks like the regular base set Pikachu that was released in base set in 1999 in the United States. Next, we have the Darkrai and Cresselia Legends card, which just means this is 2 cards, and when you put them together, it forms one artwork. Next up is the Crystal Lugia in Japanese. Now, again, we don't really know, are they going to print these cards in German and in Japanese? We're not really sure, but it seems like they might. If they are previewing these cards in those languages, it seems like that's what they're going to do. And with that, of course, you have the Palkia Level X, and this one is in Spanish. Next up, we have a card. I absolutely love this card, and I'll be honest with you, I've never even seen this Pokemon in my life. So I have been collecting and investing for a long time, but for the first 5 to 7 years, I only focused on vintage WotC era. So this is Yuxi from Legends Awakened, released in 2009. This card is absolutely beautiful. I love this era. I have a box over in the corner full of this era of card, the 2007 to 2009 era. And as you can see, this is just a reprint of Yuxi from the 2009 set. Next up, we have the Genesect EX, and this one is in Portuguese, coupled with the Solgaleo GX in Chinese. And then we have the Zacian, the Arceus V-Star, and the Raikou. Last but certainly not least is the Pikachu and Zekrom GX Team-Up card. I had some real difficult verifying what language this is in, but it appears to be in Thai. This is easily my favorite card of all the previews for all the other Pokemon. I just love Team-Up. I think it's an amazing set, and I don't have any, so I would love to pick some up. So let's just take a look at the end of that trailer again. So as you can see here, the Mew and the Mewtwo appear to be the cover Pokemon for this set. And according to PokeBeach and many others, it appears like they have a shiny opalescent glow, which could possibly hint at a new rarity or possibly a new mechanic for the TCG, or quite possibly a new gimmick. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean that something like tag teams was a gimmick. Another gimmick that many people love would be like the Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard from 151. All of the pictures fit together. So that's kind of an example of another gimmick. So that's really cool and all, but what does that mean for the investing market? If you were around in 2020, then you know that when the Celebrations set came out, it tanked in price. Is that going to happen for the 30th year anniversary? Historically, that's what should happen based on what's happened with the last anniversary sets. So my short answer is no, I don't think this set is going to tank. But the reason for that is something you might not expect. Of course, when Celebrations came out, it actually drove demand and increased price for vintage cards by 20 to 50% depending on the card. But shortly after Celebrations came out, demand waned and people started focusing on the sets surrounding Celebrations. There were a bunch of banger sets that came out around Celebrations that people were much more focused on. All the hype FOMO craze was on those sets rather than Celebrations. So Celebrations kind of took the back seat and just started slowly dropping in price. As well as the Pokemon 25th Celebrations insignia, as you can see here, was rather large. I didn't like it. I probably didn't hate it as much as everybody else, but it was clearly distracting from the card. And if these pre-release images are any indicator, it looks like there isn't a 30th year anniversary logo on the card. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't put one on there. I would imagine that they are going to put something on there signifying that it's not the original base set card. They usually do that, and they're going to do that for this set. But hopefully they learned their lesson with the 25th anniversary and will make it just smaller and less distracting. So looking back in time to 2020 when Celebrations first came out, there were also other factors affecting that set. There was the greater worldwide economic crisis that COVID was causing, so that was part of the reason why those prices tanked, and demand was naturally waning. So all of these factors working together is what caused that set to tank in price after release. And one more point about the Pikachu logo on the 20th and 25th anniversary sets. While initially people hated them, they're willing to overlook them now. For example, a PSA 10 Charizard base set from Celebrations, so the 25th anniversary, is now selling for upwards of $500 to $600. So clearly people don't mind that much. And I've said this before, but as time goes on, sentiments change. People start looking at cards differently and feeling nostalgic towards them, especially for a card like the base set Charizard, where a PSA 10 for the original base set is currently selling for $16,000 plus. Most people, including myself, cannot afford that. So what's the next best thing? Well, you get a PSA 10 from the Celebrations set. But why don't I think the 30th year anniversary is going to tank just like the 25th? Well, we have never seen a bull market like we're seeing now. This is bar none the greatest bull market in Pokemon TCG history that we've ever seen. Bigger than the Pokemon Go boom back in 2015-16, bigger than the COVID era Logan Paul boom in 2020 and 21. This is massive and has gone on longer than any of those other booms. You still to this day, almost a year and a half, 2 years later, can't pick up any Pokemon product at any big box stores. So demand is not waning. If anything, people are just that much more determined to finally get some product. I think many people will probably not like the fact that some of these cards are not in English. And I do feel that for some of them, but like the Glurak, I think is awesome. I love that card. It's just one of the OGs in the Pokemon collecting space. So we haven't seen demand dropping at all. People are still fighting over every single set. And with that, this is going to be a global release, which just means more people are looking at the cards, more people are talking about them, and more people are trying to buy them all at the same time, which is just going to drive hype even higher. So based on my history in the hobby and everything I can see going on in the market right now, I don't think this set is going to tank. So my advice to you is if you can even get any at MSRP, absolutely 100% pick it up as soon as you can. Even if we do see a dip, we see some volatility in the near future, the next 1 to 2 years, this set is still going to do well over the next 2 to 10 years, just like the last anniversary sets have done. One more example to drive that home for the 25th anniversary set, many of the random cards that I was just pulling, like the Pikachu full art, were selling for cents. I think this Pikachu was like 8 cents back in the day. And over the last 6 months, this card jumped up to $5, $10. And if you can get it graded in a PSA 10, it goes for even more. So even some of the basic cards from the classic collection are doing really well. It's not just the base set Charizard. So that's what I think you should do for investing with this set. Just definitely pick it up. But what do I think about the set? Well, let me tell you about it. When I first watched the release this morning, my sentiment on it was a bit lackluster. I was kind of disappointed. It kind of just felt like they were doing the exact same thing that they did for the 25th and the 20th anniversary. And while that is true, I like the cards that they picked, and I love that they picked a tag team card to head the set. So I really like some of the cards that they picked. And I do like the fact that yes, they picked some of the top banger Pokemon, but with that, they also picked some less well-known Pokemon like the Uxie, which is probably my second favorite card after the tag team. Well, that's about it, guys. I'm really excited for the set. I hope I can actually get some. I don't really have the time to sit on the Pokemon Center for 8 to 12 hours, but if I did, you better believe I'd be picking some up. So we'll see how heavily they print it. That could also be a factor as far as value goes in the future. But like I said before, with demand where it is, I don't see any amount of mass printing mattering for this set. I don't think there's anything the Pokemon Company can do at this point to drive prices down or drive down demand for this set. Well, that's about it, guys. So if you appreciate what I'm doing, please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, it really does help. That's about it. Peace.